I want to welcome a record-setting Navy quarterback. In the 120th Army-Navy game, his 304 rushing yards were the most ever in this storied rivalry. After playing in the NFL, he is now serving as an active duty Marine Corps officer. The Paramount Veterans Network wants to welcome Navy great Malcolm Perry. Malcolm, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. So let's start from the beginning. So what were some of your first thoughts when you stepped in the yard at Annapolis?
I thought it was beautiful. That was a big part of deciding to go there. I knew I wanted to go to the military coming out of high school. They gave me the opportunity to come play football for them. So it was kind of the best of both worlds, but I just thought it was beautiful. That was like the big kicker for me, and all the history that's tied around all over the yard. It's a sight to see for sure.
Tell us some of the rigors of academy life as you balanced football along with your demanding schedule as a midshipman.
The biggest lesson I learned while at the academy is time management, because they give you 1,000 things to do and 5 minutes to do it. So I think that's the biggest thing. And then on top of all the academics and the military obligations, you still have to go out and practice and dedicate time to be good at that. So um, time management is definitely the toughest part of going to the academy.
Yeah, no rest for the wicked, I take it.
None at all. No, sir.
2016, which was your freshman slash plebe year,
Yes, sir.
uh, playing playing Fordham College. Tell us your thoughts when Coach Ken pulled you out of the stands to play quarterback.
I was confused at first. So that week, I was sick for a little bit. So I was up in the stands with the rest of the guys who weren't playing. I was eating Twizzlers. I was enjoying the sights and sounds just like all the other fans. And then I see one of the managers running up. And he looked like he was like confused, but he was yelling my name. So I was like, "What did I do?" Thought I did something. I was like, I didn't do anything today." So um, he called me, he brought me down. They took me to the locker room. They had to go back to the actual campus, get my pads, bring it back. So I'm in the locker room getting dressed, and all the guys are coming in from halftime, looking at me crazy, like, "What's going on?" So it was a very fast-paced introduction to college football. Wasn't really mentally prepared for it, but I think it was a great experience. I think it kind of shaped the rest of my career at the Naval Academy.
304 rushing yards versus Army. Just the fourth quarterback in college football history with over 300 yards. Tell us what you were seeing that day in Philadelphia.
Um, a lot of open field. That was the theme of the game. I think my mindset going into it was I didn't want to feel like I felt the last couple of years. Like you said, we had lost 3 times previously. So going into it, I knew that the at least the offense for sure kind of was all on my back. So I was in the mindset of doing whatever it took not to lose. So if that equated in me running for 1 yard and we win by 1 point, whatever I had to do was what my mindset was set on. But it turned out to be a lot of yards rushing, which is a credit to the guys up front and the guys on the outside blocking. But um, it was a great game. It was a total team effort, and we got it done. We set out to beat Army that year, and it felt good to finally get it done.
So, as a Marine Corps, active duty Marine Corps officer, what can you tell us about your service today and what you do?
Currently, I am a drone pilot. I'm in school to be a drone pilot, so it's pretty early on in my career. I'm deep in the books right now, deep in the books. So I'm going to class every day. I'm studying. I fly simulators to kind of simulate what flying a drone is like every day. So um, very heavy on academics right now, and trying to make it to becoming officially a drone pilot. So that's kind of what my career or what level my career is at the current moment.
And tell us about what to date, what you consider your greatest achievement to be, and how it's shaped you to be the person that you are today.
I would have to say graduating from the Naval Academy for sure, and I'd have to throw in graduating from the Naval Academy Preparatory School as well. I think that set me on a course of discipline, doing hard work consistently, and set me up um, kind of to be on the path I am now. If I wouldn't have went here, I probably wouldn't have played football in the NFL, and for sure wouldn't have been an officer in the Marine Corps. So I think graduating from there, meeting the people I did, making the connections, the lifelong friends I have, I think for sure that's the greatest accomplishment I've had to date.
Yeah, it is impressive. On behalf of the Paramount Veterans Network, I want to thank you, Malcolm, for your time, and go Navy, beat Army.
Yes, sir. Go Navy, beat Army. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, we now welcome one of the greatest to ever don the Navy blue and gold, a two-time All-American with over 7,000 yards and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. He has served his duty in the Navy and had a successful NFL career and has thrived in the business world since retiring. The Paramount Veterans Network wants to welcome Napoleon McCallum. Napoleon, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks, Michael, for having me.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's start in high school. So Milford High School outside of Cincinnati. Tell us how your recruitment process went and how you ended up in the Navy.
Well, I was in the area of Cincinnati. I was probably the third leading rusher, and never really thought about playing pro or anything like that. But I did want to be an astronaut. And when I went in the encyclopedia back in those days, we didn't have computers. Um, or they weren't readily available. I went through the encyclopedia and found out where most of the astronauts come from. And most of them at that time had come from the University of Michigan. And I wanted to go to Michigan, and my football coach sent my information to the University of Michigan, and they said, he's too small and too slow for us. So the next place was Navy. And so I applied to Navy and, just wanted to play college football and then have a career being a Navy pilot and hopefully an astronaut after that.
And Michigan's been regretting that ever since, right?
Yeah.
At Navy, you had 7,000 career yards. You're a two-time All-American. What sticks out the most from your playing days at the Navy Academy?
Had to be my senior year, my second senior year in the Army-Navy game. We had a great game. We beat Army. Um, and at the end of the game, everybody carried me on their shoulders after the game, and so that was probably my greatest moment, uh, besides just spending a lot of time with my teammates.
So how would you describe the Army-Navy rivalry?
Well, it's an intense rivalry. It's fun. Everyone gets involved and they indoctrinate you early on. I mean, when you that first plebe year, you're learning, every corner you turn, you say beat Army, go Navy. You scream and shout, testing your lungs for a victory over Army. It's just everyone gets involved, and it's just a whole year process where you get indoctrinated to that game and how big a game that is.
You were on active duty while playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that dynamic and
Well, I was on active duty for 1 year, my first year after getting out of the academy. The Raiders had drafted me, and I was stationed at the Long Beach shipyard. My ship, the USS Peleliu, was going under maintenance, refurb, but they were in the shipyard for uh, probably about a year. And so I would go, I was the assistant food service officer on board, so I would handle breakfast and lunch, and then I would leave and go to practice with the Raiders, like an afternoon practice. I'd miss all the meetings, the morning meetings and the morning practice, and I'd go um, to the afternoon practices. And then since we were dry dock, we really didn't work a lot on Saturdays and Sundays. Or they made they allowed me to travel with the team on Saturdays. The Navy allowed me to travel with the team on Saturdays and Sundays. And then every fourth day, I had to stand duty and watch going back to the ship after practice.
What was your biggest takeaway from your time serving in the Navy?
Just the character of the people that you worked with. Everybody had a purpose, things to do. I just had a lot of respect for the people, men and women who served in in all branches of service, but in the Navy, my crew, I mean, we were on a ship, we did a deployment, and there's no going to after work going, to the bar or
Like you say, you get off work and all you can do is go down and play cards or play dominoes, right, in the berthing
yeah,
area.
yeah, exactly.
So tell me, how did your time in the Navy shape your life off the field?
I learned that I can do anything that I want to do, anything that I put my mind to, any problem that needs to be solved. If I dedicate my effort to it, it can be done. The Naval Academy was a very challenging environment with all the studies, with all the extracurricular activities, memorizing things, playing sports. Like every moment of your day was taken up. And so that's probably the biggest thing that I got out of being in the military and going to the Naval Academy is that, I am capable of doing most everything.
Yeah, it's an impressive place for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what is your prediction for this year's Army-Navy game?
Boy, man, you know what I love is I just got to see the Navy's uniform that they're going to be wearing
this year?
Yeah, I really love that. So I think they're going to be looking good, sharp. Got to make the Jolly Rogers, got to live up to that. So I think it's going to be a tough battle. But daggone, Army's really good this year. Both teams are really, really good. It's going to be a fight. It's always a fight. It's a great battle. Boy, I gotta say,
well, we'll have to wait and see. Well, Napoleon, on behalf of the Paramount Veterans Network, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me, and go Navy, beat Army.
All right, go Navy, beat Army.